Sorry, I stepped away for a second, everybody, but I'm back. All right, so we were talking about fantasy porn, right? And so fantasy porn is basically they start out with a storyline like some guys roll up and they ask a girl if they want to do this, that, and the other with them, and they'll pay them, and you know, this, that, and the other. Another one is like casting, where they, you know, take a girl and put her on a casting couch and talk to her about this, that, and the other, and do stuff with them. You know, or the simple one is like, let's make a porno, let's go, and they just talk to the girl and blah blah blah, and then they start, you know, having sex, and that's fantasy porn. Now, fantasy porn, now within the context, right? It's usually the guy says a lot of these flirty like things, or like dirty mouth or whatever. And the girl is usually like accepting of that, and she gets a little dirty and throws out innuendos and blah 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 blah. And it basically puts this bad idea in the heads of men that, okay, you can have any type of scenario where you could just walk up to a girl and be like, let's go to bed together, whatever. It sets up that scenario. And then it sets up this idea that you have to be able to talk sexually explicit, or you have to know how to flirt correctly, or you have to know this, that, and the other. Which is totally, like, wrong. Like, you don't need to know all of that. And, you know, the girls are going to respond to you like this, that, and the other, which they do in the movies. Which is totally wrong. You know, when you go out, it doesn't always work like that, you know. Like, I've never said things like the dudes in the porno movies say. Like, I've always just been like, hey, have you seen the bus? I missed it. How long have you been waiting? Blah, blah, blah. You know, like, you don't have to say all that. But it teaches guys that they have to say this, that, and the other. And so then they get sucked into this pickup idea where it's like, you show up at the club, you say this, that, and the other, and you take the girls home. Just like it shows in the porno movies. You know, they just show up, oh, dang, you want to film a porno movie? Okay, blah, 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 you know. And so that's what it teaches the men. And then it just puts this bad light on the women, that the women are, like, super naive, and, you know, they'll start flirting back with you. And then, like, if you go out and do that and that doesn't happen, your mind is trained to understand, well, that's what happened in the porno movie. Why isn't it happening now? And you keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, and that's how people get in trouble. That's how people get obsessed and really upset, and, you know, end up doing like school shootings and stuff because of that. And so you don't want to do that. So those are the two things. So yeah, usually it's a cameraman, and since they pay cameraman, you know, there's money going around, and usually the guy's professional, so you know it's a lot of money going around. So obviously there's some kind of corruption going on, right? So, you know, they may scam the girls into doing it, and then, you know, they offer them all this money and blah, blah, blah. And even if, you know, there's a lot of pain that goes into it with the sexual stuff, you know, they give them a lot of drugs to handle the pain. And you can look all this up. A lot of ex-porn stars will tell their stories, and it's sad how they do, but that's basically what happens. And then who's usually shooting this stuff, and then let's talk about who is usually in these movies, right? So usually the dude is like some skinny, muscular guy that's really big or whatever, and, you know, he may have some tattoos, and he may talk in hip hop slang, and, you know, have the nicest clothes on, and it's kind of like have these unreachable standards that most guys aren't going to reach. And then the girl is usually like the hottest girl ever, maybe a couple of tattoos, very superficial, you know, like I talked before, very naive and flirty and blah, blah, blah. And then when they start to do the sexual stuff, she's like, okay, yes, master, I'll do everything that you say. We can do everything you want, including if it's pain, and, you know, whatever. We'll do anything you want. And that right there sets up a bad, you know, idea of what the image of what a woman should be, right? She should be super sexy, and she should be superficial, and I should just be able to walk up and say whatever I want to her and take her to bed and do whatever I want to her, and even if it's pain, she'll be like, yes, master. And, you know, Most women aren't like that, okay? Most women are not like that. And that's basically it. Like, once you start focusing on fantasy porn, that's when you get these, you know, ideas stuck in your head that this is life. I can go into any situation with women, just walk in there, you know, as long as I reach up to this hot guy standards, the woman is just going to be like, oh, yes, and I can say whatever I want. She's going to flirt with me, blah, blah, blah. And then I take her to bed, and she's like, yes, master, I'll do it, whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like that in real life. And people go through a lot of pain and suffering because of that. And, you know, you have a lot of just school shootings and things because of that, because people are upset that life doesn't work like that. So how do you get over this whole porn addiction and things? Well, I got a couple of ideas. Basically, what I just did is collect my resources together and focus on like going out and meeting people and making friends and having fun, and kind of disconnecting myself from that idea that women are like this, that, and the other. You know, go out and meet some real women, see what they're like, see what their body types are like, see how they talk, you know. And that's with my experience. That's why I haven't really had a lot of the hardcore experience with like porn addiction, because I always just went out and talked to people. And so maybe I can go and interview somebody with some other suggestions to get rid of porn addiction. And yeah, I'll get back to you, and I'm going to get you guys some resources, maybe link some videos for other techniques and other advice on how to get rid of porn addiction in your life. But that's basically the science and basics of it, okay? Now, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like what I talk about, you can subscribe to my channel, and you can leave me a comment, and I'll get back to you. All right, everybody, I'm out. Peace.